G'day, welcome to Country Music World. I'm Mick.
And I'm Jay.
Today we're going to head down to country New South Wales and talk to a young fella that's just got himself off the cruise in a country boat.
He might have just got off the boat, Mick, but he's the real deal. He's a real cowboy, and he's still running the family cattle property.
He's got a great new album, mate, and he's just released the title track as his newest single, and we're going to have a yarn to him about that.
He's heading into Tamworth. He's got a big show there this year, so we're going to chat about that as well.
He's had a bit of time off too, mate. He's had nearly a decade out of the game, and he's come back with some great new music, and of course we're going to ask him about that as well.
And he often heads over to Nashville, so we're going to drill him on that one as well.
Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share them around, sit down, relax, and let's get to know a little bit more about Roo Arcus. All right, Jay, so let's cut across to Roo, who is probably hanging down the paddock here somewhere. We got you online, mate?
G'day, Roo.
Yeah, mate, you got me.
G'day, mate. Welcome to Country Music World.
I found the telephone booth up here on Parksbourne Road. I'm just out looking over the Bredowden Plains. I can almost see the kids at school. I go to school. There's about 10 kids in the school over there, so neat little school. But no, mate, you guys have got us. I think we've got a good connection here. We're good to go.
Yeah, I think it looks fine, mate. Let's start off with, now you just got off the boat about a week ago, so quickly, mate, tell us about the cruise in the country experience. Was it as good as it seemed to be from all the photos we got? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, fantastic. In fact, I think I only got off the boat yesterday because I was still, doing a bit of these ones, trying to find my land legs again. But, it's, I think my wife's still doing a little bit of these ones. But a few people on the boat still are. I don't know whether it was because they just had too good a time on there or whether they're actually trying to find their land legs. But anyway, no, it was a fantastic time, mate. It's almost, it's becoming one of the big ones on the country music calendar, I believe. And I think a lot of people are saving their dollars because it's really not much more dollars to go on that cruise than it is to, say, go to whatever it is, the CMC Rocks or Tamworth or wherever it be. You can go there and sit in the luxury on a beautiful, cruise ship and have all the artists right there, and you sit down and have breakfast with them. And we did that every morning, my wife and I, Sue. We'd try and find just a table full of people that we didn't know. We'd go and sit down with them and just say g'day. And they're like, oh, well, you're one of the artists, And it was always good when you came across somebody who had no idea who you were, really. They might have heard of you, seen you perform on the ship, but hadn't come across you before. And I think that's always great when you go somewhere and no one knows who you are because, you're reaching out to a new audience.
Do you like doing that, Roo? Do you wake up in the morning and, I know some artists that I've dealt with over the years, they're not really that hands-on because it's kind of just that awkward small talk, but do you really enjoy just throwing it out there and getting to meet new people in that situation?
Yeah, I do, mate. It's really funny, and this is probably contradicting myself, but it's really strange that I ended up in this business, and it was purely by accident that I did. But, I like being out here on my own. I like working on my own. Sometimes I say I'm not a particular, a big fan of people. I love my animals, and like I say, I love my being isolated, that sort of thing. I don't need people in my life to fulfill my life. And of course, I love my family, and that is my life. But I don't need to be around big crowds of people. When I was younger, I didn't particularly like being in crowded nightclubs or anything like that. I'd always get a little edgy or a little on the back foot. And so it's funny that I've ended up in this business, getting in the spotlight and getting amongst a lot of people. But I do enjoy it, and I think it's one of the great things about what we do is going around seeing some fantastic places and meeting all these people, just these interesting people that you come across, wherever it be, whether it be here in Australia or anywhere.
There's probably another part of the boat that I think, a man like your own stature would enjoy, and that's probably taking your jeans off, mate. Now, there just happens to be, for the people that don't know, Roo, he hijacked our feed.
He did.
You're into Mia. And
we gave him the keys to the channel.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Pirate Roo and Pirate Sue turned up, and they hijacked us. And now my highlight of that 10-minute feed was your pasty white Casper ghost legs. Roo Arcus, now you got a serious problem, my friend. That was the scariest thing I think. I mean, my little fella, he ran away scared when he saw that. What's going on below the belt, Roo Arcus? Because there's some serious white legs you got there, mate.
It's one uniform all year for them. It's just Wrangler jeans all year.
Did you find that young children were running away from the pool area when you went for a swim?
Yeah. Well, that day in Noumea, when we found that little bit of internet at the cafe, that was the first time the legs came out. That's not the first time the legs have come out for a couple of years. So, I'd see them probably throwing on their sunglasses as I was walking down the street in Noumea there. That was a very rare thing. I don't know what was coming over me at that point when I decided to show off those stunning white little sticks of mine.
It's the tropics, mate. It's the tropics. It does funny things to you, the tropical weather, Let's talk quickly about your music, Roo. So you've got Cowboys and Sunsets is doing great for you, and you're just releasing the single. The new single's released now, isn't it?
Yeah, I just decided that I wanted to release another single off that album. In fact, there's probably still another few that I could. We're at this point now where everybody's saying, "Where's the next album? Where's the next album?" And I'd love to be in the midst of doing one. The timing is right. I guess the sort of format that we've had over the last 4 years, we should be lining up for another new album about now. But I did go and do that standalone project. I did go to across the States earlier in the year and recorded Red, White and Blue, which I just thought was a song that had to be recorded, and I went and did that one. So I have had to put something else fresh out there. But since then I thought, I think I need to put out another single, Cowboys and Sunsets, the title track. So it was a good song. Thought it'd be a good radio song. It's going well in the live shows. People are really liking it. So I don't know whether I'll release another single after this one. I'll definitely be writing new material. I already started to write now. It's just so hard, man, to find the time to do it. It really is. And so it's time. If people are wondering where's the next Roo Arcus album, I'm just trying to be honest, I'm still paying off this one. I'm still paying off the last one. The well is running dry. How do you just keep coming up with it? How do you just keep finding that money to keep doing it? And, I have set the bar reasonably high with those first couple of albums. I can't go backwards from there. I can only just try and do at least as good a job, if not better job, every time. And that's what I will continue to do somehow. But I won't just put out something for the sake of saying, hey, here's another album. I even said to my wife when I came back to this business, I said, because she said, well, how long are you going to do this for before you decide that it's not working, Because to be honest, I'm not so sure she was that thrilled about me coming back to this business again. But, here I am, and I think it's working. I think it's going okay. Financially, we're a long way from making it work yet. It's a long way from there. But I think we just keep putting out quality material with quality songs, quality recordings, and trying to do quality shows. And, everything we do from, whether it's a piece of merchandise, so I think we just keep doing quality. It's work on the quality and just staying true to what I do. I'm never going to shift from what I'm doing. I've had people saying, Drew, it's going okay for you, but maybe you need to try something else to really get it across the line. Do something a little bit more, with the times. So I was thinking, well, my music is not, it is with the times. It's traditional music. And actually, Jerry Sally told me this. He pulled me up once. He said, don't be mistaken, Drew. This, you're doing traditional country music, but, it is now. It's just 2016 traditional country music. So, yes, it's sort of from old school roots, but it's, what you're doing is, it's modern traditional, and don't ever think otherwise. So I'm going to keep doing that. I love it. I can't imagine singing anything else. When I walk on that stage, like the song says, man, it ain't no suit. I've got white legs when I strap on the shoes, because it ain't no suit. It's one uniform, and it's the same uniform when I walk on stage. And when those clothes get tired, that become my work gear,
Well, look, we're certainly glad that you came back to country music, and I know a lot of other people are, mate. You did the last album was done in Nashville. How did that experience go? Is that something you'd look at for the next album, maybe, or?
Yeah, I'd say there's a very real chance of that happening. In fact, I'd be almost certain of that happening.
Yeah.
Why do I go over there? I don't know. Why does anyone go over there to record an album? I think for me, my style of music, and I'm not saying that the people here in Australia, the people who are on my previous album, like Here Cowboy, you know, the musicians in there, amazing. There's no doubting the talent or their ability to be able to get that sound, which I chase. But I think it is limited to just a few people who really know that style, who really love that style of country music, to pull that off. To be honest, mate, it worked out a lot cheaper for me to go to the States and do my last album. And I had arguably some of the world's greatest country music players on that album. And half the band was Alan Jackson's band, guys like Brent Mason and, you know, those sort of guys. And I mean, I know those guys are playing on a lot of Australians' albums now. And I know you can fly the tracks over there and they can cut those pieces on there. But there's something about being in a room with all those, you know, incredible people. And we just cut them all live, you know. There's no bringing in, you know, another player at another time. It's just we're all in the studio, all together, with just live band tracking, and it's pretty neat, yeah. Just love it. It was such an easy experience, mate. We had so much fun.
Oh, it'd be a great experience.
Just so easy.
I don't see a problem with it at all, and you know, and guys that get on the plane and go over to Music Row and they get, you know, Brent Mason and Michael Rhodes and Glenn Wolfe and all these guys, Paul Franklin in a room, and Tim Crouch probably playing fiddle for you, I'd be guessing. And to get all those guys into one room, I mean, that in itself, you know, growing up in a country music game, and you've been around the country business for a long time, Roo, they're our heroes, man. I mean, we're even though we're artists and we're working musicians, we're allowed to have our heroes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The same as the fans look at the current Australian people now, and they look up to them as the stars of country music. We also, as humans, have our own stars. And if someone ever said to me, if I got the opportunity to live out one of my bucket list goals, to go on a plane and meet my heroes, which is probably a massive part of the reason that I'm doing this in the first place, the answer is yes. I don't understand anyone that frowns on that. We're allowed to live our dreams as well in the business that we love, right?
Yeah,
that's it, man. And look at that Cheshire smile you got right there. It's just like, I love this business. And I mean, now, mate, you got out of the game. You've been out of the game for a little while, and you come back with. I've said that This Here Cowboy, that album for me, and I've said it ever since I've heard this album. I think that's the best country album that's ever come out of Australia.
It's still sitting in the front of his ute.
That thing gets an absolute smash, and I need another one because I've
just how wore it out.
Ripped the absolute crap out of this one. But it for me is the ultimate country music record that's ever been come out of Australia. And I know that was recorded here, and again it was recorded live. And I had the luxury of Michelle Rose in my studio here a while back recording, and we talked for 4 days about your album. And I know that the guys that played on that album, that certain few that you're talking about, that understand the way that the traditional music comes together, those guys, I think, recording that album, I reckon if you ask them individually now, they'd probably say they had a moment out of all their recording. And that, I don't think there's ever been an album come out of Australia close to that thing. So the obvious next step from me for you, unless you wanted to do the same album, would be to go to Nashville, because it's the only way. Because there's a bigger range of diversity over there when it comes to those stylistic players. I think you're right with that. But what made you come back? What made you make the decision, and what gave you the part that made you brave enough to get up and talk to your lovely wife Sue that you wanted to come back after about 8 years out in the paddock and have another crack at this? Because you got out of it for a little while because it was pretty hard to sustain back then, and as you're finding out now, it's probably even harder to sustain a career now because it's gone the full digital market. So, what goes through Roo Arcus's brain to go, I'm going to get on this horse and go around here again because I think I can do it differently this time? You crazy man.
When I did come back, just to sort of skip forward, then I'll come back again. When I did come back, I remember meeting someone in the industry, and I said, one of the reasons that I came back was I thought I could make more money than what I was making out of our cattle business at the time. And I thought I'd come back to music. I could see a bigger light at the end of the tunnel. Playing music to make some dollars.
You hadn't been off the farm much, had you, mate?
Things must be just really crook on the land. You come back to music and make more money than what you're making now. And they were, I just at the time I just couldn't see too much changing that was going to make me money. And to be honest, I think I was unhappy. I mean, I've got a bobcat. I've got a little small rural excavating business which I could really step up. I mean, I could jump in that thing and make some good dollars really quickly. Have the ability to do that. I mean, I used to do a lot of contract work, contract fencing around the area. I was just that go-to guy in our area to, that people would call upon. Because I could sort of handle most jobs. So, really, when I left music, and I didn't just leave it because it was all too hard. I left it because, firstly, my mother was diagnosed with leukemia. And, I was sort of toing and froing from the farm with the touring at the time, coming back and just jumping in when the jobs needed to be done. So Dad was pretty much, running the place and looking after things, and I'd jump in and help when it was needed. So when Mum got crook, and it was real bad. I mean, there's no good timing for it. I mean, I can't believe, she just retired from work and bang, handed the leukemia card, That sucks. But, so Dad, obviously, for the next few years, until we eventually lost Mum, he just basically left the business in a sense that he was just at Mum's bedside in whatever hospital she was in at the time. And I just went, as soon as we found out, okay, let's just put the music aside for a minute and let's deal with this and see where this goes. So really my wife and I took over the management of that property from that first day, and we continued to ever since, and that was, it was a long time ago. It was 12, 13 years ago that we lost Mum. And Dad just never sort of come back to it. I mean, Dad lives on the property, does what he can, but obviously took the wind out of his sails. And so I was still in the background, still thinking that at that point, I'll get back to the music at some stage, and I was still writing the odd song. I went away working for a builder for a few years, trying to make some money to support the farm, because it was in a terrible drought at the same time as well as all that was going on. We had a really bad few years, terrible drought, probably the worst one I'd seen in my lifetime. And so it was just all these things, and then, I ended up having kids, and I just got to the point where after I've been out of it for about 4 or 5 years, where I thought, it's gone, it's too far gone. There's no way of coming back to doing this. Yes, someone in Golden might give me a call from time to time, and hey, can you come in and play at, whatever fundraiser it was. So I'd still get up and have a little sing every now and then, and like I say, I couldn't help myself but write a song every now and then. But it really wasn't until we had some new neighbours moving to the area, talking about, subdivision and things happening in the area. New neighbours came along, came friends, sitting out there on that big back deck of that place where we shot, out on the farm and all those sorts of things, and, all that stuff's real. We sit out there on that back deck and we drink beer and we have barbecues and we talk rubbish. And I ended up pulling out a guitar, and they're like, oh, you play guitar, do you? Because not knowing anything about my background, I start playing and I start singing. I'm like, well, you sing too. And I start, and I go, oh, here's a song I wrote. Like, you write songs, and, really? And so, every time they come down, oh, get your guitar out again and play us something. And then eventually they find out the whole story, and they go, and you're driving a Bobcat, why? You're fixing fences, why? You've got a gift, and you're an idiot if you don't use it, So enough people started telling me that. And my kids were just, both kids had just gone into school. And I thought, what, I've been here for my kids for this whole time of them getting to that edge of getting to school. So, I work at home or from home. And, I've always been around, but I was happy to see all that stuff. And still now, even with all this going on, I still get to see most of the swimming carnivals and athletics carnivals and school plays and all those sorts of things, which is great. But, once I had that thought, once they said, why don't you do it? And I thought to myself, well, the kids are old enough. They're at school. They're not need as much attention, and gee, I wonder if I could do it, And then once I had that thought, I thought, you know what, maybe I can. It was just like, switch back on. It was like, and then I was hungry, Now, I thought, I've been out of this for so long, probably when I come back, most people aren't going to even know who I am because it'll be so new, and some people might remember us from years ago. And I can come back and do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
And I'm going to.
Clean slather, man.
Sitting on the other side of the fence as a listener for all these years, I was thinking, what the hell happened to country music and where's it gone?
Yeah.
I'm turning on the radio, I'm thinking, man, what happened to that great, I'm just not hearing it anymore. Surely there's a lot of people who want to hear this stuff. This is the stuff I love to sing. And I'm just going to come back and sing it, And I'm going to pick 12 songs and make an album. And I'm going to pick those 12 songs for no other reason except for I like them.
Yeah.
No other reason at all. And every artist should do, Just pick them because that's who you are, that's who you love. You come out and you're happy as a pig in mud when you come out on that stage and, you're singing those songs and you're proud of those songs and you've got no regrets when you make the album. You think, yeah, they're good songs. Love them. Love what I do. And hopefully someone else does.
Well,
so that's the approach I take, mate. And my wife says, you probably need to do something a little bit, think a little bit more commercial, maybe think a little bit more radio. I don't want to give Sue too hard a time because she's going to watch this, but and she certainly has my back, which is great. But I just can't help myself. I just love that music. I'm never going to change. I'm just going to keep punching out them sort of albums for as long as I can.
it is a tough one though, mate, because, Sue, she's onto something there, and you know it yourself too. It's a tough climate to survive in, and I think the reason a lot of them are doing it off the bat now is they've got to sell. It doesn't necessarily, there's not a lot of people that are made up like you, Roo Arcus, and you've got to understand where you can sit there and go, I'm going to do this because it's what I want to do, but not everyone gets that choice,
Yeah.
And I mean, really, at the end of the day, you're making that choice. You could listen to Sue and you could go the commercial side of things and change your music, and you'll probably get more airplay. You'll probably make some more sales. You'll probably get some more festivals. But at the end of the day, you said it there at the start of that, you love it. You're happy with this. This is what I want to do. I get to do it my way. So essentially, you're making that choice. But where did country music go right now? There's people that come into this business because, there's a real... I honestly believe the new ones that are coming through now, these kids that are 18, 19, they grew up on Merle. They grew up on George Jones. They grew up on Lefty, and they grew up on all these old cats that we grew up on. However, to sustain in this market, they can't sing that stuff. So, we interview them a lot, and we go, "What'd you grow up on?" And they say, Charlie Pride, and Keith Whitley, and all these cool people at George Strait, and it's like, wow, but you're singing this sort of stuff, and it's because they want to be in the industry, but it's the only way that they know how to is to tap into that commercial market to try and make some money to survive, because it's an expensive process. I mean, you're always going to have a wall in front of you because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
And that's such. I'm glad because I love it.
We're fans.
I'm a huge fan. I'll always buy everything you have, and there's no problem with that. But in saying that, I understand why Sue says something like that to you. And
you're obviously heading to Tamworth this year. We've got the Pure Country Spectacular. Did I get that right in the right?
Yeah.
Capital Theatre.
Capital Theatre. Yeah, got a few special guests coming along with you that night. Tell us about that show, mate. What's happening there?
Yeah, well, for the last couple of years, I've been invited along to be one of the performers at the Pure Country Spectacular up at the theatre there, the Capital Theatre, and Sue Wilson, who a lot of people will know. She's the brains behind the Pure Country Spectacular. She just wanted to do something and be able to showcase some of the artists that she liked, and obviously it's worked. Been quite successful for showcases the last couple of years. And she does a lot of work for me in the background. She runs the Roo Crew, the fan club, and all that kind of stuff. So she's been a huge supporter. She went from, we sort of joke about this. she heard me in an interview when I first came back and talking about this Here Cowboy, and she became my stalker fan. And she's probably going, "Oh my God, why are you saying that again?" Because I know she'll be watching this as well. But was true, she was borderline stalker, but she still could be. I'm not sure. She's really great.
She will be now.
But it is from those very passionate fans that that we need them. I wish we had a Sue Wilson in every town.
Yeah.
They are very passionate. They do support all the country music that comes to each town. But thankfully, she's got right behind me. She started Pure Country Spectacular, and she was sort of at me to get into a new venue. I wasn't sure where I was going to be performing at this upcoming Tamworth, and she basically said, "Why don't you take that spot in the theatre, and we'll give Pure Country Spectacular a break and see what happens." And we got to talking and said, "Well, let's combine the two. What you've been doing has been working great. We've had a great response. Some of the people who've been coming to those last couple of shows said, we'd love to see a bit more of Roo. Would have liked to see some more. So now, let's run the showcase, but I'll put my whole show in there as well. We'll run the showcase at the beginning, and I'll just do my show as I would have done in any other venue. And hey, that theatre's really nice. So I'm looking forward to playing in there."
So when is that, mate? What date's that? Do you know it off the top of your head?
I think it's the 24th.
24th?
I believe it's a Tuesday.
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, is it? 7:30?
Tuesday the 24th. Yeah, probably about 8 o'clock that night, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So obviously people could go on to the Capitol Theatre website or the Tamworth website and get tickets for that. It'll be a ticketed show.
Yeah.
And
you've got some special guests with you as well that night?
Yeah, well, we're going to have. I'll probably forget some of these now.
That's right.
But we've got Tracy Clean and Anthony Taylor.
Yep.
And
and the rest of them. Look at the poster. Look at the poster. There'll be posters up.
Still a bit of cruise brain happening. A few too many margaritas or something, mate. But,
so are you going to be in Tamworth the whole time, mate? Are you going up for the whole week, or are you just going to be in there for a little portion?
I'm performing at the Tamworth Opry. I think I'm doing the Country's Cocktails, that event, and then I've got a bail, mate. Normally I'm there for the whole 11 or 12 days. We've been traditionally riding in the parade for the last few years with the Reining Horse Association up there. Been helping us out with that, with the horses and supplying horses and riders and that sort of stuff, so that's always been fun. But this year, because they've sort of moved the calendar a little bit for the festival, I've actually been asked by the council here in Golden if I'd be the Australia Day ambassador for the region. So, which I thought was a nice invite. It's nice to know that they sort of take a notice of it back here at home, because, it's always a little bit of hometown syndrome for an artist. You see all these events happening in town and you think, well, I'm right here. How come they've never asked me to do any of these things? When they asked me, I thought, that's really nice. I'm really glad that you asked me. I'm glad that you've taken notice of us, what I've been up to for the last few years. So, I have nominated a song. I guess we'll find out very soon as to whether we're a finalist for the awards. I just put red, white and blue in there. It's the only thing I could nominate this time round. So if I do happen to get a finalist berth for that song, I guess I'll be racing back up for the festival again. But it's going to be strange. I'll only be there for a few days this time, really.
Well, we're going to make sure we catch up with you at least in the first part of the week, mate, when you're there.
Yeah,
and we'll definitely, we might hijack you to hijack the channel again.
Yeah.
I reckon.
That sounds like a plan, Mick.
I reckon.
Good.
Yeah.
He's probably crazy enough to do something crazy with us too, I reckon.
I reckon he would.
We'll put you up to a Roo Arcus leg challenge.
That'd be really crazy, is to put me and Mick on a horse. That'd be really...
No, I don't get on the horse. I'm not doing horse.
No?
No. Well, yeah, okay, I'll do a horse.
It'd have to be one of those big old...
Probably a big horse though, okay?
One of those big old drivers.
Yeah, don't bring your little horse, We can bring you back the cavalcade, mate. I'll be the front of the horse, you be the back, and Roo can ride us up the street. Now that'd be funny. That'd actually be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'd get about 10 metres.
Yeah, I don't think we'll make the whole parade though somehow. You'll probably be dragging the horse up the end of the street by the end of the day. Mate, you know, we're going to sort of sign it up here now. We're going to make sure all your links and you got your Facebook, you got your website. Is there any other places people can find you, mate, that you use those social things?
Just your Instagrams and your Twitters and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, well, we're going to make sure all your links are down below, and obviously people can buy your music direct from your website, can they?
Not at this point, but probably we're going to do some changes on the Roo crew on the website there.
Yep.
So we should be able to. They're always available mostly on eBay.
Yeah.
You can get them there. Some of the stuff's available on iTunes.
Yep.
But we get all that stuff.
Well, if you're watching this thing and you haven't heard this man sing, do yourself a favour and download it, buy it, find it on eBay, go into the store, find it, get it.
Send him a message on Facebook.
Yeah, just contact Roo through the website or through Facebook, and whether it be him or Sue Wilson or Sue Arcus, any other Sue that's attached to Roo, and get in contact with this guy and put his CD in the car, because his first CD's been in my car for years now, and it just your music, mate. Your music is fantastic. You're a great guy, Roo, and your legs are terrible. We have to work on that. We're going to work on that. And they're as wide as our YouTube shirts, and I tell you, it caught me off guard. It caught me off guard. Thank God you can sing, because you're not going to turn up in any foot magazine soon, I'll tell you.
I'll keep the jeans on, mate.
It's been an absolute pleasure to sit back and have a yarn with you today, mate. And we know you've got some work to do, but we do thank you for taking some time out for us. And welcome back for getting off the boat. We look forward to catching you in Tamworth. All your links are going to be below. We totally recommend people go and listen to your music, because if you want a good cowboy song, good country music, this is a man to see right here. And go to the Capitol Theatre. You're going to have a great night. There's heaps of people on that thing. And, mate, on behalf of Jay and myself and everyone at Country Music World, we wish you the best, Roo, and keep doing what you're doing, man, because it is the best sort of country music you can make.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. I can't see myself stopping that any time, but we'll sit there, have a go, and like I said, new album, I'll get in the works next year. More new music, more of the same. Someone said to me, I bought an Alan Jackson album a couple of years ago. I mean, I buy every one of them. But, and I said, well, and they had it, and I said, what do you think of it? And they said, it was just like the last one. I said, yeah, exactly, that's why I bought it, because I know what I'm going to get. I love that stuff. Yeah. And I'd be disappointed if it wasn't the same. So, man, I'm just going to keep making, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, making the style of country music which I love, and I'll just do it for as long as I can do it. And I know there's a lot of supporters out there, and it is tough. I've chosen the hard road. There's no doubt about that. But I like challenge, so I'll make it work. Don't you worry.
Good on you, Roo Arcus, mate. We'll catch up real soon.
Thanks, Roo. Cheers, mate.
Thanks,
mate.
Very much. Appreciate the interview. It's good talking to you.
You too. Bye, mate.
See ya.
Did you like that interview and want to see some more just like it? Then check them out right there.
We've got artist interviews, we've got the CMW Country Artist of the Week chart as voted by you, and we also have heaps of weekly prize giveaways.
So give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because together we can make a difference in the country music world.